If you're someone who overthinks everything and you tell yourself a million different things like, you know what, this lighting isn't good, this mic isn't that good, it's not a good day to film, it's a little loud, the dog upstairs is barking, so many different reasons. Let's talk about it.
Hey, this is Anusha. I'm always pivoting from 9 to 5 to founder to identity mode. And this is Pivot with Anusha Kannan. Let's get into this week's episode.
In this video, I'm going to walk you through a couple different projects that I've actually started and what my mindset was like when I started them versus what I think about it now. And I'm going to share a couple of things that I literally just cringe at, even now, like things I've made 2 weeks ago. And why that's the exact reason I even keep going in the first place. Let's talk. So let me give you a little context. I started the Marketing Woman podcast in 2023, but I knew I wanted to start that in 2022 when I was back in India. And when I moved to the US, I bought one microphone with me and I was wearing this hoodie and I had the same table and I had one table light, but I would give myself a million excuses not to start that podcast. I would tell myself, I'm just an engineer. I cannot start a marketing podcast when I'm literally just learning marketing. But I wanted to do it. Something inside me told me you have to start it. And I did. And was it successful? Absolutely not. Did anybody care? Not so much. I literally lived in a studio apartment in Boston downtown. And I had a window which would produce so much noise from the traffic. And I had one air mattress, which was literally right next to my table. And it would always make these funny noises. I had loud neighbors and I had to wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning to record each episode. But here's what I want you to know. I would still do it. I would still show up. And then after graduating, I got a full-time job offer. I moved to Cleveland, which again, thankfully did not have a lot of traffic noise or neighbor noise. But what I did have was isolation. What I did have was a full-time job that I had to figure out every single thing by myself. And I had to figure out how to make time for content, how to make time to meet new people or get new ideas. Where was I going to get inspiration from? I would often tell myself I didn't want to spend the weekend editing or coming up with ideas. I just wanted to watch TV and just have fun because I was working full time and I deserved that break. But I also knew all of those things I was telling myself was an excuse. I'm not saying that you shouldn't rest or watch movies, none of those things. But I would find time between my lunch break hours and I would tell myself, edit the video, upload the video, and then we'll deal with everything else later. So that's literally what I would do. I would eat for 5 minutes and then the 25 minutes I would take to edit, to upload, to think of new ideas, to watch other creators and try to find some inspiration, try to find how are they editing? How can I have lighting? How can I speak better? What's the way? It was all about curiosity over excuses. And let me tell you something. When I look back at all of the episodes I've made, both on the Marketing Woman podcast and other stuff that I've done, I cringe so hard. I cringe so hard. I really, really, really hate every single one of them. But here's the thing, right? I will never delete any of those episodes, any of those videos from YouTube, from Spotify, because that girl that was brave enough to even start those things, she's the reason I'm here. And I never want to feel like I shouldn't start this because someone's going to think something about me. I might actually cringe at this video while editing it, after posting it. Boston's still Boston. I want you to remember, and I want you to think about this. If you're like, I want to start something new, but I just don't know what exactly it is I want to do. I just don't think it's going to be perfect. I feel like it's going to be cringe. Just think about this. When you were a kid and you wanted to learn how to walk, did you really care about what anyone around you was thinking or doing? No. It was your job to learn how to walk. People were still laughing at you when you fell down. Did you stop? No. Here's what I want you to remember. Cringe does not mean you didn't evolve. Cringe actually means you evolved. Cringe actually means you put yourself in an uncomfortable position and you tried something new, but silence actually means you didn't move at all. If you're in the same place, stuck to your comfort zone, it means that you actually never dared to try something new. And if you want to build something, you have to be willing to be seen before you ever feel ready. And if there's one thing I've learned is that people will not come to your door, knock on your door and be like, hey, I heard you're a genius at this. Can we work together? Nobody's going to do that. You cannot grow in private forever. You're going to have to put yourself out there. You're going to have to talk about the things you're passionate about. You've got to talk to people. You've got to tell people what you're passionate about, what you're building. Get feedback. I, as a marketer, cannot ever do anything without getting feedback from other people, without testing things out in public, because you might think you're a genius. You might think you have $1 million idea. I promise you, 1,800 people have the same kind of idea. It's not your unique idea. You might be unique only if you actually test it out. And let me tell you this little story. I recently rebranded the Marketing Women podcast into the 360 Degree Marketing Show. And I learned so much through that one tiny experience. I was literally questioning myself all the time, asking myself, do I do this? Will people even like this? Will people even understand why I'm doing this? Do people even care enough to notice that I've rebranded? Is anyone even going to watch this? Is anyone even going to listen to this? All of those things told me, you know what? I told myself, don't do this rebrand. Don't do this. You know what you want, but you still don't do this because you're going to lose what you already have. And those type of thought processes usually only come into your mind when you're focused on the external validation, when you're focused on, and I know that I said you need to gather feedback, but just hold on there for a second. What I mean by that is you're focusing on the negative outcomes. You're focusing on how this could go wrong instead of saying like, you know what, I'm just going to be in beta mode. I'm going to try. And if it doesn't work out, I can always improve on that. Here's the thing. Clarity doesn't come first. Action does. And only through action will you actually get clarity. I don't believe in having the perfect angle, the perfect message. I pivoted because I had something new to say. I pivoted because I knew that I wanted to do something different, and just sticking in one place, telling myself that it has to be this way. It has to be that way. I need to have like $1 million studio. I need to have like this lighting. I need to have that. I need to be able to fly out my guests from elsewhere. I need to be able to run ads just work with what you've got instead of thinking about 1 million different things that you don't have and that you cannot even control. And I'll tell you something, there are so many different avenues I can go with this one topic, because when you try something, you literally are telling yourself, I am confident because I've done this 700 times before. And that kind of confidence, it only comes from testing things. And this is how I've always operated. I will test things. I will try to get feedback. I will try to just refine it. I will try and fail at it. And I always believe in failing faster, because the more you fail, the more you learn and the more you can just keep growing. People are so scared of failing. I've literally been conditioned even since when I was a kid, like not to fail. I loved failing. I failed my entire life. Failing is very second nature to me. And I love doing it deliberately too, putting myself in situations where I'll get rejected, where I'll fail, because all of that is your ego talking. All of that is your ego. If you're sitting on an idea and you haven't started it yet, because again, like I said, you're giving yourself of 1 million different reasons not to start, you're scared of how it'll look, just start. Just start. It doesn't matter if it's not perfect. Let it be rough. Let it be unpolished. Let it not be super clear. I genuinely don't relate to people that pretend to be perfect. I'm always like, okay, they're too perfect. I can be like them. I can aim to be like them, but I cannot relate to them. So it's great. Maybe a role model. Awesome. But can I relate to them? No. Why do you think we love listening to stories about founders, about entrepreneurs, about cricket players or basketball players? Because we know that there is a part of them that we can relate to, and nobody's perfect. And if you show up like you're perfect, it just doesn't resonate with anybody. I also want to add something very important here. And if you're trying to create something, you're coming up with a business idea, you're trying to film videos, you're trying to be a YouTuber, a content creator, whatever it is. If you're creating something and you're watching someone else also do something very similar, you'll feel very seen by them because they're doing something that you kind of want to be doing, or maybe even literally want to be doing. And let's be honest, even when you feel seen, there's a part of you that wants to discuss these things with someone, right? Like you want to talk about these things with someone who will actually understand that. And chances are not a lot of people have that kind of access to people, right? It takes a while to find your people in the sense like people you can actually talk to this about with. And I I do feel like I've watched creators who really inspire me. And I've learned from people whom I admire, and I still felt and feel like sometimes I don't belong anywhere. It's very easy to feel like your path isn't shared by anyone. It's like you're isolated, you have a million different thought processes, you're just like acting crazy, writing in a piece of paper, talking to ChatGPT, talking to Cloud, and you're just trying to come up with reasons as to why you feel the way you do. And it's a very tough process. And I've read so many books about founders. I've watched so many videos on entrepreneurs, and I've kind of realized that everybody goes through this phase, right? Everybody goes through this phase of, I have so many different ideas. I want to validate them, but then I want someone who knows me or understands what I'm going through, or even like just to bounce ideas off of. And it's a very, very isolating period. And to be even more honest with you, I sometimes don't fit in with people my own age. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't party, I don't do any of that. I'm a professional classical dancer, but I can dance if I want to and have fun if I want to, but I don't fit into a lifestyle that many people my age do. And I have no problem with any of them. I have amazing friends too. But the problem is like, sometimes I kind of ask myself, should I be doing the things that everybody else is doing? Should I be doing the things just to fit in? The thing is, I cannot fit in. I don't want to fit in. I don't want to replicate anybody. I don't want to live a life as billion people. Like, I just don't want that. And I have never really seen anyone make a huge impact by doing the same thing that everyone else is doing. And if you've listened to my Pivot to Balance podcast before, if you're listening to this one on Spotify, you can always go below and check them out. I always talk about neuroscience and kind of go back to like, why the hell are people the way they are? And I kind of went back to this and I kind of thought about this one, right? Our instinct is to belong. It's biological, it's tribal, right? We want to belong somewhere. But the thing is, we're not cavemen anymore. We don't have to be scared of animal attacks. We don't have to be scared that we don't belong somewhere, that nobody's there to protect us. I'm not saying that you don't need communities or connections. You definitely do. Even having followers or subscribers is still a form of having a community, having people who have the same interests as you. But I don't think you should try to fit in somewhere that you clearly do not belong in. So when you think that what you're doing is cringy, your business idea, you're trying to test something out, and you're thinking immediately like, this is cringy. What if someone disapproves of the work that I'm doing? You're just asking the wrong people. Whenever I think about, oh my God, I'm going to post this video, what if someone thinks it's cringy? You're just not my person. You're just not my audience. And that's totally fine. It's like marketing 101, right? If you're trying to sell, if you don't have a target audience, this is such a marketing 101 basic, which is like, if you don't have a target audience and you're saying, oh, my business is for everybody, that's your number one way to bankruptcy. That's your number one way to not make any kind of money out of it, right? You always need to know who you're talking to. Right now, I know who I'm talking to in this video. And it's not for people that are like, I just want to go work, come home, rest and sleep. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I'm not that person. And I'm sure I'm not talking to someone like that in this video as well. If you watch this long, you're not that kind of a person. You want to do something with your life. And I'm not saying they're not doing anything with their life. I'm just saying that we want something more. I think every year I will try to find ways to embarrass myself more, like try to do things that people normally wouldn't do. Not anything illegal. I'm just saying things differently so that I can grow. I can grow as a person. I can grow as a professional. I can grow as a creator. Sometimes I still wish I had better lighting. I want that full photo shoot studio lighting. I do. I wish that I can have a makeup team with me that can do my makeup. I sound more polished, but all of those things are excuses. All of those things are excuses. None of those people got to that place by doing it in the first place. They did something else completely different. They did something very basic, very starter friendly. And I think that is what you should remember. If past you didn't try something that current you is proud of, you wouldn't be in this position. So why are you putting things off that your future self is going to be proud of? You don't grow without cringe. You don't learn without trying. You don't become without being seen before you're ready. So embarrass yourself, post it, make it, share it, because that's how you get anywhere that's worth going. If this one resonated with you in any way, let me know in the comments. What's the one thing you've been avoiding and you think you're gonna, I need to get my shit together and I'm gonna start working on it? What is that? Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear that. And if you're tired of waiting, this kind of content is what I make on here. This is for the ones who build before they're ready. This Pivot with Anusha Kannan, and it's not really a podcast, but I think it's also kind of a podcast. So I will see you in the next one. Peace.